Baby! Baby! Oh, hallelujah! Y'all boys better sing! Oh, Lord, sing that song! Where my shoe? Where my shoe? Okay, fam, let me tell you, I am still all hyped up from watching The Voice tonight, the battle round, first one for the season. Oh my goodness, let me tell you, there was just, especially the last one was amazing, so I'm gonna jump right into this, and they were carrying on. So let me tell you first, what is happening. In the battle rounds, each coach picks 2 people from their team to go up against each other. This is do or die, and one person is going home. So one person is staying, one person is going home. One person is going over to the live show, the other person is going home. Do you get it? Let me tell you, all this talent is supposed to be the best that they could find, and 2 of the best have to go up against each other and go home. Okay, immediately, I'm telling you, it is very exciting, and they had some great people there to help them mentor. Let me start out by telling you that Adam invited Alanis Morrisette and Thicke. Blake invited his wife Miranda Lambert and Kelly Clarkson. Ceelo invited Babyface and NeYo. Christina invited Jewel and Lionel Richie. I mean, just some powerhouse talent in the house to begin with. Like I said, 6 artists from each team are going home. 6 are going on to the live show. 1 is going to win a recording contract. Let me get into the battles and tell you what happened. We started out with TeamAdam. He chose Tony Lucca and Cauley to go up against each other. They were singing Beautiful Day. Alanis Morrisette coached Tony, and Thicke helped coach Chris. In the battle. In the battle, I wrote, they were both great, but I liked the timbre of Chris's voice more than Tony's. But Adam kept Tony Lucca and he cut Chris. Now let me tell you, on Twitter to begin with, everybody was like, what? Why did he? And they were doing this for several of the judges' choices. Why did he go with so instead of so and so and so? I ain't gonna try to go there. They're both great talents, and Tony Lucca won. TeamBlake next up. Adley Stump versus Raelynn. They were singing Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. Miranda Lambert helped coach Raelynn. Kelly Clarkson helped coach Adley. So, in the battle, Adley didn't start out so well. They both seemed a little stiff in their movements to me when they were moving around the stage. Personally, I'd have to say that Adley surprised me. Though she was a little shaky on the harmonies, I liked the sound of her voice better, and I thought that she came across better in the competition and on stage as just as a singer. But Blake kept Raelynn and cut Adley. And of course Twitter went crazy, like, how could he? But I understand this one, because if you look at last year's choices for Blake, you'll see that he really likes that quirky sound. And he says this because she told the story better, but I think he likes that quirky sound better than, you know, Adley's type of voice. Next up, Team Christina, Xtina. She put Chris Mann against Monique Benabou, which, immediately I thought, oh my God, and I think Chris was thinking the same thing, like, yeah, I got this, you know? Because so they were singing The Power of Love, Celine, Dion, right? Lionel Richie helped coach Chris Mann, and Jewel helped coach Monique. In the battle, their voices didn't blend well to start out, and they just didn't. They didn't sound good together, and for me, they were both trying a little too hard. They were both pushing. Chris came off harsh to me, especially in the lower parts, and Monique was over-singing until she was singing to him, which was strange. They're in a duet, they're competing, and she came off better to me when she was actually addressing him and kind of singing to him. She came off softer, sweeter, more loving. Her voice sounded better. I didn't care for either one of them, and I didn't care who won. Christina chose Chris Mann and cut Monique. But I just think they didn't either one come off very well. And there were several people saying, why are these people screaming at each other? They were just very harsh, and I did not really enjoy this supposed to be duet, but this battle. Next up was TeamCeelo. It was Cheesa versus Angie Johnson singing Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. Babyface helped coach Cheesa, and NeYo helped coach Angie. In the battle, I thought their voices were very well matched. It is the first battle of the night where I felt like it was an actual duet. I felt like they were working together. They were both trying to be their best, and they were both bringing that extra bit of angst to compete with each other. Angie showed a little more control in her vocals. For me, it was just, she just had, you know, she's either going out of the louder, strong parts into being a nice little finesse. She just worked it better for me. I thought they both had some very strong moments. They both did great, and I wrote, they both had very good moments in this duet. It really came off as a duet to me. And not just one person screaming at another or one person trying to out-sing the other. Ceelo kept Cheesa and he cut Angie. It was a really hard decision. Either way, I don't think it could have went wrong. I think Ceelo just likes better. He says he likes the more aggressive person, and Cheesa did come off as more aggressive. But personally, for me, I like the person who has a little more control, who can bring it down and, you know, swell a little bit and bring it a little vibrato and then make it straight, who can really work with their voice and actually just add so many different colors and flavors. And I thought Angie had more of that. But Cheesa won, and congratulations to her because she did work hard and she did a great job. Next up for TeamBlake, we had Jordis versus Brian Fuente singing Ironic by Alanis Morrisette. Kelly Clarkson worked with Brian, and Miranda Lambert worked with Jordis. You know, now and then I like to talk about just a little something that someone says in one of their commentaries or whatever when they're talking to the contestants to help you guys out. And Kelly Clarkson advised Brian to commit. You know, he was being very tentative in what he was doing. He knew the notes, but he wasn't really attacking it. And I learned early on that you really need to commit to what you're doing. You know, if you're singing in a choir, if you're singing a song and you are very tentative, it seems like you're wrong. Even if you're right, you're not going to come off as being right because you're not attacking it. If you commit to it, whether you are wrong or you're right, most people won't know the difference unless they are actually trained. If you hit something and you're like, and it's wrong, most people are gonna be like, oh, I like the way you attack that. You know, they're not gonna know that you hit the wrong note. You know, so what he was doing was he was not actually just, he had the notes, he just wasn't trusting himself and he wasn't attacking and really committing to what he was doing. And so she told him to commit no matter what he does. And that is something that most of us learn very early on if we decide to sing in a choir or something like that. Commit to what you are doing. And if you're gonna sing wrong, sing loud and wrong. Don't hold it back. In their actual battle, Jordis killed her beginning. I just thought she was dead on. She was very emotional. She did what she was going to do. Brian had a little trouble finding his pitch because they changed the key, and so for his solo he was having a hard time getting into it. I thought the ending for both of them was very weak. They just kind of dropped it. The whole thing together was just okay for me. I wasn't really crazy about what either of them were doing. The only thing I liked was the beginning where Jordis really came in and she really did her thing. She added a little something here, but when they got together it just wasn't working. Blake decided to keep Jordis, although he said that it was really kind of a mess and neither one of them had done them best, and he cut Brian. Last battle of the night, they've been leading up to this battle all night long, and this one I have been waiting on, believe me. Team Christina had Anthony Evans go up against Jesse Campbell. They were doing If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys. Lionel Richie worked with Jesse Campbell, and Jewel worked with Anthony Evans. And they both gave some great comments to them, but I was so nervous doing this. I was just, because I was like, oh my God, I am crazy. Both of them, I think, are so wonderful. I've been following them both. I enjoy their voices and their style of singing. They're just a little bit different, you know, in places. Jesse is more of the showman, and Anthony comes off as more as the grounded one who's actually singing from the heart. So for me, I like both of them. And in the battle, I wrote, they both started out pretty sedate, you know. They came in, and they were doing their thing or whatever. Had some nice little embellishments here and there. Didn't push it too hard. They actually had good harmony together, which I was surprised about. They had a good blend going on. They were working together very well. They took it from there. I mean, they just went through the roof with it. They built this thing on solid rock, and they just climbed and climbed and climbed. They both got off some good notes, some good riffs, some good, strong, powerful vocals, and I was just like, I was so tense because my mind was just being blown as I was watching this performance. If you did not see this, go to YouTube now and find it. If I Ain't Got You. Jesse Campbell, Anthony Evans, they toured the roof off of this. Plus, they worked well together and apart. They came together and then they went out and did their thing. They ended together. Look, I'm just overwhelmed by what went on here. They got a standing ovation from the audience and the judges, and they were just great. This was really a great matchup. If you can't tell, it was really great. They were both on point. They were both, you know, just there. You know, everybody would say, oh, you know, from what they were playing in the commercials, they were, oh, they're just gonna be over singing, and you know, why they gotta, but they really started out nice and slow, and they built and built and built and hit that pinnacle, and then they came back and did their thing together, and I just thought it was just a nice arc to it, and just a perfect performance for me. Just a perfect performance. It was a hard choice for Christina. She went with Jesse and cut Anthony, but it was just nerve-wracking, and I know for her it had to be. And many of the judges was like, I can't. Ceelo was just like, I don't know. How you gonna do it? Y'all got. All four of them turned their chair for Jesse, so Adam and Blake were both saying, yeah, I would just go with Jesse because, you know, I really liked him. How do you choose? How do you choose? This was exciting. This was what should happen on The Voice every single time. But of course, it can't happen every time. What did you guys think? Were you as excited if you saw it as I was with this particular performance and with all of them? How did you think they came out? I think some people are saying, you know, this should not happen. The best should not be being booted off from another one of the best. You know, they should be going up against other people. But I think it is perfect. I think they should have to face off against one another. And this was, it was a great matchup. It would have been cowardly not to put these two guys up against one another. And I really salute Christina for that. Yeah. I'll see you guys next week. This is Robert Anton, robertanton.com. Make sure to check out my So You Want to Be a Singer series here on YouTube. Also, check out my originals playlist. I'm out.